Lena Moi, a name once whispered in Kenya's State House corridors, but later forgotten by the very country she once served. Behind the stern public gaze of former President Daniel Arap Moi was a woman who lived and died in silence, far from the power she once brushed shoulders with. Welcome to TMN Media, and remember to subscribe. Now, before her death in July 2004, Lena Moi had already endured decades of emotional and physical isolation. Once married to Kenya's longest-serving president, Lena had no bodyguards, no motorcades, no spotlight. In 1979, after finalizing a painful divorce with former President Moi, she quietly left the grandeur of State House and retreated to her modest home in Moi, Eldama Ravine. But the suffering didn't end there. Living alone, Lena led the life of an ordinary woman, cooking her own food, tending to her own garden, and even using public matatus to get around. It's said that during the burial of her son-in-law, Ibrahim Choge, Lena arrived not in a government convoy, but on foot, having taken a matatu from Ravine to Nandi Hills. Other mourners arrived in luxury vehicles and helicopters. She came with dignity, alone. In the years that followed, her living condition declined further. Her once private bedroom was shifted to the sitting room, not out of choice but necessity. Her roof had begun to leak and no one stepped in to fix it. A woman who once hosted dignitaries now lived beneath a dripping ceiling, unbothered and forgotten. When illness struck in 2004, Lena's body began to give in. She had been battling high blood pressure and related complications. On the evening of July 22nd, after praying with her daughters Jennifer and Doris, Lena collapsed. She was rushed to Mercy Mission Hospital, but it was too late. The woman who once stood next to power and had breathed her last, quietly, painfully, and without a nation's notice. But even in death, peace remained elusive. A bitter dispute erupted over where Lena should be buried. Initially, she was to be laid to rest in Sacho, a homestead that had long been abandoned, but her brother William Bomet was outraged. He argued that if her body wasn't taken back to Kabarak, he'd bury her himself back in Ravine. Eventually, Moi relented and Lena was buried at Kabarak, a place she had once lived in. For many, this wasn't just a funeral, it was a tragic symbol of the alienation she had endured throughout her final years. A woman erased from her husband's legacy, buried in his estate like an afterthought. And yet, despite the pain, Lena never publicly complained. She never wrote a memoir, never granted an interview. She chose to suffer with dignity, holding close to her faith, her children, and her silence. Hers is not just a story of a forgotten first lady. It is the story of a woman who bore the weight of a broken marriage, a distant country, and the shadow of power she never asked for. Lena Moi may be gone, but her quiet strength continues to echo in the heart of those who understood what it means to be overlooked by history, yet defined by grace. If you found this story powerful, moving, or revealing, hit that subscribe button and join us as we uncover the hidden chapters behind one of Kenya's most iconic names. This is TMN Media, the real stories and untold